These are 5 real stories from Reddit about people's real experiences with home invasions. Please enjoy. I go and walk my dog around my house pretty late at night, usually 12 to 1 a.m., maybe not the safest thing. But I live in the woods and away from people. Anyways, I start walking downstairs and notice my sister's door is open and the light is on. It struck me as odd considering she moved out 6 years ago, and nobody ever goes in there. I walk in to turn the light off and close the door, and I see a man trying to hide behind the closet door. It's broken, filled with boxes, so there was no real way he could hide from me. I act like I didn't see him, and I went and grabbed my shotgun from in the other room. Went back in and told him not to move or I'd fucking kill him. He jumped out of the closet and took off running as fast as he could right past me, into the garage and out into the woods. I could have shot him, but I didn't. I saw his face a few days earlier. He knocked on my door claiming to know my neighbor and said he was looking for copper to sell. Asked if I knew or had any old copper he could have. I gave him a few old car batteries and that was that. He said he had 2 daughters he was trying to take care of, and I didn't call the cops, but that's the extent of my mercy. If he came back the next night, he was dead. I live in a joint family system. My house is at the top and has just finished construction, and this is the night we moved in. I'm at the ground floor with my sister, 3 cousins, and their parents. We're all laughing and having fun watching TV when a masked guy with a gun walks in. Now I'm scared shitless because this is Pakistan and I'm an in-closet atheist, so I think he's come for me instead. He beats up my uncle and starts asking them for money and jewelry. They go out of the room to look while this one guy watches us. Everyone is dead quiet. We're all kids in here, aside from the one guy laughing and making jokes. He's nice, not the others so much. One comes in and says they're from Afghanistan and that Pakistan has helped the US destroy their country, so he's going to rob Pakistan. When we said that we obviously aren't from the government, he says the army did it. I freeze. My dad, who's at the top floor, is in the army. He had been deployed to the Afghan border once. No one's children are on the same floor as the parents and nobody knows what's going on. I think our floor is the only one, and when they take everyone's phone, I thank God my Nexus is in my room. Uncle comes back with the mean thief. They didn't find enough. Apparently someone told him that we had gold bricks hidden somewhere, and this is where I start to calm down. They're here for money, not for me. He then tells the nice guy to shoot me to get them to talk. We manage to talk him out of it, though they take my eldest cousin and tell his parents if they don't cough up more, they're never going to see him again. After a bit more beating and searching, they decide to leave. My dad comes down after they've left to check on everyone, and he's hurt pretty bad. Whoopee, my Nexus is gone. Thankfully they didn't touch my PS4 or PS3. Everyone is safe, though they were about to take a hostage. Also, one of my cousins were apparently crying and begging the gunman not to kill him to the point where the thief had to reassure them that they're not. Later, police tell us one of them was killed in a showdown at another house when one of the neighbors called the police. My mother is traumatized by the incident. This didn't happen to me, but it happened to one of my family friends. I'll call him Jake. Jake went away to Thailand for a few weeks. The whole family, including him, his brother's girlfriend, and his parents. Jake was in university at the time and had some assignments he had to finish, so he returned earlier than the rest of the family. When he got there, one of the cars was missing, and the house was turned inside out. They had opened all the vents, turned over all the furniture and rugs, emptied anything they could add something inside like drawers, pots, and boxes. All the valuables were gone. Jewelry, games, electronics, etc. He called the cops, and everyone else came back from their holiday immediately. Turns out his brother's girlfriend had made a post on Facebook about going away. Somehow, someone saw it and decided they would take a car, scope out the place, and spend the next 3 days hanging out there and stealing all of their stuff. Jake's parents are lawyers, so he had access to some kind of record that helped him find out something to be able to find them on Facebook. I don't know, lawyer stuff. And I actually found it. This guy posted a photo of him and his girlfriend. She was wearing Jake's mother's one-of-a-kind necklaces with her stolen car in the background. The cops said it was circumstantial. The neighbors noticed the dudes robbing the place one of the days, got their Rego, and chased them away. But still, the police did shit all. Turns out the suspects they had were the same ones Jake had found, and they all had criminal records of robbery and assault and whatever else. Yet, still, nothing was done. I can't remember what happened with their insurance exactly. I don't think it covered anything, not to mention all the cleaning they would have had to do. It happened when I was around 10 or so. At the time, my dad's job was pretty far away, so he would stay at his father's house during the week and only come home on the weekends. So it was just my mom, brother, and me. We were getting home around 4 p.m. that day, and she had substitute teached at one of the schools and was bringing us home. Now, we lived out in the middle of nowhere, and crime wasn't something we ever thought about, so my parents never locked the doors to the house. This made breaking in quite easy for the burglar. When we arrived that day, the house was a mess, and many things of value, such as TV, VCR, etc., had been taken. My mom also used a metal cash box as a box to store all of her coupons, and apparently they thought it actually had cash and pried it open. The cops took forever to get there, like 3 hours, which in hindsight is kind of bullshit because I guarantee you they had nothing else going on. Anyway, because of that event, and my dad being away, my mom and I were super scared, and the police even said they might return, as we were an easy target, which did not make things any easier. I slept in her bed for a few days as it made me feel safer. That event forever changed how safe I felt. Ever since then, I make sure my doors are always locked. This is true for both my car and my house. It made me much less trusting in general, and that feeling has never gone away. You feel violated in a really icky way. When I was about 4, we were broken into twice. The first time, my grandfather and mom had been grocery shopping. We arrived home and unlocked the front door, and one of the bedroom doors up the passageway slammed shut from the change in air pressure. My grandfather must have sensed something was up and ran up to the passageway to the bathroom. The window was open, curtains swinging in the breeze, and nobody to be found. They figured he mustn't have been there long before they arrived, as nothing in the house was touched or taken. The second time was 3 months later. My mom woke up to someone sitting on the bed with a knife in his hand at 3 a.m. My mom says she froze, couldn't talk, couldn't move, and was completely petrified. She said he was mumbling, but couldn't make out what he was saying. Then the next door neighbor's dog barked, and he just stood up and walked out. She heard the back sliding door open, and a minute or so later the line of sight shining through the curtains from the street light was blanked out. She grabbed the phone and called my grandfather. All she said was, "There's someone in the house." He lived about 5 minutes away with her 3 younger teenage brothers. In less than 5 minutes, they pulled in the driveway and scattered to surround the house. All barefoot, wearing only their underwear. Every single door was unlocked, and the back door was open. Nobody to be seen. Mom was a mess. There were big muddy footprints in the laundry under the little window she left open for the cat. It took a few days for all the weird things this creep had done to be discovered. He had shredded a black negligee that was in the laundry basket, fed the cat and poured her a bowl of milk, poured a whiskey out of the decanter into the living room, and added ice and Coke to it. Somehow had injected solder into the eggs in the fridge, ate the leftover roast meat out of the fridge, cut up some catalog that were sitting on the bench, took a photo of the stovetop and another one of me sleeping on Mom's camera, and left it sitting next door to my bed. Tipped salt into Mom's shoes. The knife was out of Mom's block in the kitchen, and they never really found it. Just really, really weird shit. The cops came, got plenty of fingerprints, but whoever it was didn't have a record. The consensus eventually was that it was an acquaintance of one of her brothers, and it was a bit of Chinese whisper's conclusion though. He said X and Y to person A, who told person B, etc., etc., and it got back to Mom's brother. He was eventually locked up on some sort of psychiatric hold for something unrelated, and was never charged with the break-in. It messed up my mom for a lot of years, and my stepdad had a monitor alarm system installed when they got together, which somewhat helped our fears. Thank you for watching the video. This is just a conglomerate of different Reddit stories I saw on Ask Reddit, and I thought it'd be good for a little story time, maybe something to throw on before you go to bed. And yeah, take care, and hope you enjoyed the video.